What is up, full-time family? This is just kind of an impromptu stream. We're going to cover some of the stuff that's been going on in the news. Also take a look at the UFC's updated pound-for-pound rankings, the lightweight rankings, and also I kind of just want to stream here because we've been having that internet rankings, the lightweight rankings, and also I kind of just want to stream here because all right, now that I got that muted. Also, we've been having those connection issues. I think those might be fixed. We might have one spike here or there, but we'll see. So if this doesn't cut out, that's going to be dope as far as our streaming future is concerned. But with that being said, one of the main things I really wanted to cover is, if you recall, before the UFC 223 main event, Dana White was saying, yeah, Tony Ferguson's not being stripped. He was saying that belt goes away, but it was really unclear. He was like, no, Tony Ferguson's not being stripped. He said, Conor McGregor's the only one being stripped here. And then he said, Tony Ferguson, his belt goes away, he becomes the #1 contender. So it's like, okay, so I was really unclear. Is he going to be stripped? Is he going to be the #1 contender? Is he still going to be the interim champ? Turns out neither. He's going to be the #2 contender. Hold on, let me take this off the chat. Should be up here as well. Yeah, there we go. Jeff Lyon, son of a gun. And I just can't stop holding these alligators out. Oh, let's go. No, but yeah, so turns out it's neither of those. Tony Ferguson's going to be he's the #2 contender. Now, I've got to say, of all the options, this is my least favorite. Tony Ferguson, man, say what you want. I do believe if Tony Ferguson and Khabib were to fight, Khabib would be the favorite. I do think Khabib, if you're talking about the best lightweight in the world, is the rightful contender at this point. Now, I would love to see him versus Tony Ferguson because we haven't seen him versus that style, someone as unorthodox as Tony Ferguson. But to be fair, whenever Tony Ferguson beat Kevin Lee, everyone said, you don't deserve the interim title because you beat the #7th ranked guy. Well, now Tony Ferguson just lost that title, from beating the #7th ranked guy to Khabib, who beat the #11th ranked guy in Al Quinta. So, I mean, it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I just didn't expect Tony Ferguson to be the #2 ranked contender. Now, I mean, some people are going to say, well, how would you put him over Conor when Conor was the actual champion? But some people say Conor shouldn't even be in the top, shouldn't be the top contender right now because he hasn't fought MMA in so long. He's only fought one time in the lightweight division. So that was really interesting to me to see Tony Ferguson not only lost his interim title, but he also is the #2 contender now after being crowned the interim champion and never getting to fight. But to be fair, he was injured leading up to this fight, and we don't know. It seemed pretty serious. So depending on how long that injury is, you got to make something happen. So maybe because he won his belt back in October. So if he would be out until October, then as the interim champion, you can't really have Tony Ferguson out a whole year as the interim champ. So, I mean, maybe that's what it's got to do with. I'm not sure. But it's just interesting. I didn't expect Tony Ferguson to be the #2 ranked contender. But also, let's take a look at the pound-for-pound rankings. Demetrius Johnson, still #1. George St. Pierre, jumping up again. George St. Pierre is climbing these P4P rankings from the sidelines, boy. George St. Pierre, he was like #4 under Cormier under Miocic. But then, like, out of nowhere, we saw he got bumped up to 3 a couple weeks ago, which was interesting because it's like, what he hadn't fought in that week to really move up the rankings. But now, since Conor McGregor did his shenanigans and was stripped of his title, looks like GSP jumped up one more spot. So that's interesting. GSP is the #2 on the pound-for-pound list right now, but it's looking like GSP is going to be making a return and at a new weight class, possibly 165 pounds, possibly 155 pounds. So GSP is looking at 3 weights. So maybe that GSP is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters if he's active. But the thing is, we didn't know what was going to happen with that colitis. So now it's looking like he might be making a return. I'm interested. What do you guys think, though? 155 pounds or 165 pounds for GSP? I would assume. But if they're going to do 165, they're going to have to wait until that class is added, which there's a lot of talks about that happening. Possibly with the new UFC TV deal, they're going to possibly, add that new weight class that's been talked about. So if they do, I could see GSP wanting to break that in. GSP maybe versus Conor for the 165 belt. GSP versus Khabib. Khabib's talked about fighting GSP. A lot of big things coming up. Oh, Nick Diaz. There was talks about his next future opponent, man. Carlos Condit said he would be open to a Nick Diaz rematch, I believe. And I was saying, I think it's going to have to be one of those bigger names. If Nick Diaz is going to come back, you know, because he's eligible to come back. 419 is when his suspension ends. So Nick Diaz is eligible to come back 420, which is pretty fucking funny if you're Diaz fan, you know the whole weed thing. But yeah, so he's eligible to come back 420. If he's going to come back, he's probably not going to be trying to climb the rankings, the welterweight or the middleweight, fight the number 12 guy, and then the 8 guy, and then the 3 guy, and then the title shot. He's probably going to be coming back for big fights, Nick Diaz. So Carlos Condit, GSP. Maybe we see GSP Nick Diaz rematch for 165 belt. Ooh, Conor versus Khabib. That would leave Nick Diaz or GSP for Nick Diaz at 165 or whatever. I'm all the way in. I'm all the way in for GSP Nick Diaz too. And there's already been a lot of talks of that happening. So that's my prediction. Thinking about it, we'll probably see Nick Diaz GSP too. And if it happens later rather than sooner, it might be for that 165-pound title. Even though GSP's mentioned 155. Man, I gotta believe it before I see it, just because we've never seen GSP fight that low, even though he was looking pretty small in his most recent picture. So, let's see if there's any other rankings moves. We see Khabib Nurmagomedov move to number 8 in the rankings. That's pretty well deserved. I mean, as far as he's the lightweight champion, so whoever, if Conor McGregor's up here and he's ranked over Conor, he kind of has to be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Khabib, he moved up 6 spots, so he was already there. Yeah, so they had him at like 14. Tony Ferguson, I think he was up here, maybe knocked out. Somebody, I think, got knocked out, if I'm not mistaken. Is Joanna up here? No. I wonder if she was up here before the Rose fight. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But Joanna's definitely out now. Garbrandt, Whitaker, Nunes, Ferguson. So, yeah, not too much movement. GSP up, Khabib up. Everybody else just had to make a little room for those guys. Lightweight, Renato Moicano moving up. No movement at all in flyweight or bantamweight. That'll change soon. It's looking like we're going to be seeing Demetrius versus Cejudo 2. I believe Formiga's got a fight coming up. I can't remember against who. Borg's rescheduled to fight Brandon Moreno. That fight just got rescheduled to UFC Chile. Sergio Pettis, who's he fighting? He's got a fight coming up, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so no movement in flyweight or bantamweight right now. Featherweight, Renato Moicano. He moved up 2 spots over Yair and DERN Elkins. Zabit, man, it's looking like we're going to be seeing a man. What do y'all think about Zabit versus Yair Rodriguez? That sounds like a really fun fight. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are really, just from Zabit's last fight, I mean, I'm sure he's probably great at grappling too, just being from Dagestan, I would assume. You know, I think somebody said he's got the grappling of Khabib or something, or he trains. Somebody was big up in Zabit's grappling as well. It's not just his crazy, insane striking we saw last fight. But Yair Rodriguez definitely more known for his striking, you know. So that would just be a fun fight, like crazy ninja shit in that fight. So it looks like Zabit's team is really pushing for either Yair fight. Ariel Helwani on Twitter today. See if I have that up. Ariel Helwani on Twitter today was... He was talking about how Zabit showed up to like the Performance Institute. I'll pull it up in a second. Yeah, it's one of these articles. Zabit pulled up to the Performance Institute looking for Yair. He, I guess, maybe trying to like, hey, I want to fight you. And he was just waiting for him, and he never showed up. And they said it wasn't like he was ducking him. They said he just didn't run into him. But that was his plan, because he heard he was going to be there, showed up to try and like, hey, man, you trying to fight? What's really good? But he never ran into him. So it's looking like Zabit's team really wants that fight. So let's check out some of the headlines, though. Let's see what the chat's talking about. Mighty Mouse turning down the Dillashaw fight, dropped his stock significantly. I think what added to that even was when Max Holloway offered to step up on short notice and fight Khabib. It's like, hey, I'll go up a weight class and I'm damn near injured. Fuck it, let's go, Khabib. It's like, oh shit, and you know, it really laid it out. Like, well, it's kind of a win-win. You're not going to lose your belt. And, you know, even if, because Mighty Mouse seems kind of content at fighting at 125, it's like, well, if you fight at 135 and you do lose, come down here to 125 and keep defending your belt like you want to do anyway. But I wonder, would he lose his spot in the pound-for-pound rankings? If Demetrius Johnson goes up to 135 and loses to TJ Dillashaw or whoever is the champion at the time, Well, does he lose his? Do they take his spot in the pound-for-pound rankings, and then he goes back down and he doesn't have that spot anymore? That's the only thing I think Demetrius Johnson has to lose is his spot in the pound-for-pound rankings. So, other than that, it seems like a win-win. You don't lose your belt. You go back down, defend your belt as many times as you want. Keep making that paycheck that you're comfortable with. But yeah, stock is definitely dropping a little bit for sure. Conor is ranked 1 and doesn't have the title now. Yeah, he's ranked 1, but that's because he was the champion. You know, it's like, I mean, they're gonna put Conor at rank 1. But my thing was Dana White said, yeah, you know, Tony's belt's not. He said Conor's the only one being stripped. Tony becomes the #1 contender, and Tony got stripped as well. Well, maybe I guess by technicality he wasn't stripped. It just went away. So I guess that's not stripped because it went away. So Tony's belt went away. It didn't get stripped. And then now he's the #2 contender. Not #1, #2 contender. But some of you guys know, I want to see Eddie Alvarez versus Tony Ferguson. I think that's a fun fight. Khabib's going to be out for a while. Conor's going to be out till whoever knows. That sounds like a fun fight to me, Tony Ferguson versus Eddie. I mean, if Tony Ferguson doesn't want to wait, if Tony Ferguson felt, you know, like he got the short end of the stick, like his belt went away, without a boom. Well, he's going to be out for a while too, depending on how significant his injury is. So I don't know. Maybe Eddie Alvarez fights sooner than he comes back, but that's a fight I would love to see. Tony Ferguson versus Eddie Alvarez, who's also a former champion. So it would really give legitimacy to Tony Ferguson's title that he once had. You know, people said, "Oh, you beat Kevin Lee." Well, if he beats Eddie Alvarez, he already beat RDA. So Tony Ferguson's a savage. Gutted we never got to see Tony versus Khabib though. Yeah, possibly we see that 2019, maybe 2019. Who knows? They're gonna have to just pop that up on us. Like, yo, Tony Ferguson. I heard Ariel Helwani saying that. They're gonna just have to pop that up. They can't even build that fight and try and get us hyped for it. They just got to say, hey, next weekend, Tony Ferguson, Khabib, buy it if you want, man. It's just buy it, bro. It's happening, because that's crazy to put together a fight 5 times and for it to be put together for a 5th time, and all 4 of the first times it never happened. That's insane. Let's see. Michael Bisping just leaked the UFC's plan for Conor McGregor. I saw this, not really too juicy. I mean, he's saying Conor McGregor was supposed to be in New York, which is kind of contradicting some of what we've been hearing. But he said it was for something else. He said on his Believe You Me podcast, he said by all accounts, Conor was going to be at the Barclays Center on Saturday night to make an announcement. It was going to be a title fight or whatever fight the fight was going to be. I'm sworn to secrecy, so I can't say, but he was going to be there. And some people said that. They were talking about how Dana White was going to make a big announcement for Conor and maybe announce Conor McGregor's return before all of the madness. So, but then also I think someone said, you know, there was the story going around that the only reason Conor McGregor came was because Artem called gang. Like, hey, these dudes just tried to check me in the hallway, 12-on-1. He put his hands on me, dude. Game, boom, hang up, Conor flies, mad, glass, dolly, boom. So with that being said, you know, it looks like Conor might have been in attendance to, I don't know, Barclays anyway, according to what Michael Bisping had to say, but who knows for what. But Ariel Helwani also said too, this night was supposed to go a lot different for Conor McGregor. They were going to announce his return. So whatever that means. But yeah, that's one of the things about UFC fighters having podcasts, you know, because you're just talking so openly. And so, you know, I heard this before on like a Brendan Schaub podcast. He was saying something about Rockhold Whitaker before it was announced. He was like, yeah, you know, the winner of Rockhold Whitaker. And I was like, huh? Like, ain't GSP supposed to be Builder Booms fighting someone else? But then it ended up, they actually ended up fighting Rockhold and Whitaker, but one of them ended up getting injured. Yoel stepped in. That's when Yoel and Whitaker fought the first time. But like that, I don't, you know, maybe like he said, he was sworn to secrecy. I don't know if you were supposed to say that part either. So, you know, but sometimes these fighters do know some things behind the scenes, and it just comes out on their podcast. But yeah, we got new. Is this new? What is this? Is that? Okay, yeah, we already got some. Conor McGregor and Ferguson fall. Khabib rises. Oh yeah, it's the updated rankings. We covered that. Carlos Condit offers to welcome Nick Diaz back in the rematch. Let's check this out. They're going to make us watch the whole 9-minute video. Nah, Okay, we get the gist of it. Carlos Condit's like, hey, Nick Diaz is coming back. I'm down for the rematch. I'm down with the get down. I'm sure he is. A lot of people are going to want that fight. You know what I'm saying? When Nick Diaz comes back, it's going to be a big fight. The return of Nick Diaz after how long? It's going to be a pretty big fight. But I think it's going to go to, if not Carlos Condit, a GSP. But Carlos Condit definitely has a better chance than like Mike Perry, who called out Nick Diaz. But yeah, so first I was like, okay, Carlos Condit, that sounds good. But now I'm thinking of it, maybe we see GSP versus Nick Diaz too, opening up the 165-pound division. That'd be dope. Yeah, I'm not saying Ortega can't beat the best. I'm just saying he's not yet. Yeah, man, Brian Ortega, he's going to be fighting Max Holloway. I think they're targeting UFC 226. Ortega, that would have been a good fight for Khabib. You said Ortega catched, but the thing is, Ortega still would have a little bit of a size disadvantage to Khabib. So even though it would be nice to see that style, you know, really see somebody with that great fucking jiu-jitsu against Khabib, even though we've seen Khabib fight RDA, and RDA's got some, you know, really good jiu-jitsu. But just a new guy with some jiu-jitsu. We've been seeing Khabib kind of pummel strikers and stuff like that. So to see that T-City, it would be a great, you know, styles make fights. So to see T-City versus Brian Ortega, that would have been fun. And I think even a better matchup, like I said, than Max Holloway or Anthony Pettis. But at the same time, I think I'd probably pick Khabib in that fight, favor Khabib just because his size. I mean, some jiu-jitsu dudes, yeah, you know, size doesn't matter all the time in jiu-jitsu. But if you're both equally skilled, if you've got a 120-pound black belt and a 150-pound black belt, the size does matter, I think, when you're equally skilled. So Brian Ortega versus Khabib, but also about Brian Ortega, though, man, that dude's a fucking I can't think of the word. Like, he's got the clutch gene, bro. I seen somebody saying, like, he gets beaten some of his fights, and a lot of his fights, if you look on the fight metrics on UFC.com, he's losing the fights, like, going into it, but he's getting better and better. Like, he was losing, and he won in the third round via submission. Losing the fight, won in the third round via knockout. Losing the fight, won in the third round again. Then second round. Then most recently, first round. So, I mean, he's up in the finishes, but a lot of the times, whether it's via the takedowns or the striking, he's down in the fight metrics. Let's see. Random drunk people react to Conor McGregor's bus attack, and it's pure gold. You guys ready to watch some pure gold?
I don't know what that means.
Fuck them both. Life is Jack. Fucking guy's a beauty.
All right, so here we are, Life of Jack, best channel on YouTube.
Woo!
I'm friends with Conor, man.
Conor, what a fucking bitch!
Khabib would fuck McGregor up 100%.
Yo, Khabib, who the fuck's he fighting? Some real estate agent or some shit? What the fuck's going on here?
I'll Quinn's up.
Conor McGregor's a fucking twat for what?
What the fuck's going on here?
Whoa, fuck.
Damn, we got all these extra videos playing. Yeah, this is a pretty 10-minute video. Yeah, we're not going to play all of that. But yeah, that's pretty funny, man. Let's go back. So, y'all, man, we ain't lagged out. We ain't cut out yet, man. We ain't hit the red box yet. We've been all green, right? We're good, right? That's good news, man. That first cable guy that came out said there was like a fucking root blocking my signal. Second guy said, no, man, you just need a new router. Got that new router, and we're looking pretty good, man. It looks like Shogun versus Vulcan, UFC headliner, canceled. Uh-oh. Criminal issues prevent travel. Looks like that case is rearing its ugly head. That happened right before the DC fight. Fight between former Shogun. Damn, that was going to be... Where was that? Was that a UFC Brazil? No, that was a headliner. Oh, what headliner? This is not a headliner. Chile was the co-main event, so I guess you can say co-headliner. I see what you did there. But yeah, this was the co-main event of UFC Chile. That's unfortunate. Shogun versus Ozdemir canceled. Maybe they keep Shogun on the card. Maybe. I mean, that was going to be a freaking good fight, man. Shogun versus Ozdemir. That would be so. The fight between former champion Shogun and Vulcan was sure to deliver fireworks. However, according to reports, Ozdemir's current charges and felony level assault have prevented the fighter from leaving the country. According to this site, I didn't see no aerial tweet down there. This isn't the most reliable site all the time. It's just got some outside the box news sometime. I'm going to go to the other sites in a little bit, but yeah. Ferguson shows off gruesome injury scars, makes first comment. I got to see this, dude. Holy fuck, dog. All from tripping over a freaking cord? What the fuck did he fall on? A knife or something? Like, I mean, you know what? Oh, well, no, that's the surgery, duh. I'm stupid. But, still, god damn, what the hell? I mean, God, I wish there was, like, an angle just to, that whole situation fucking snowball. Like, that's what started the snowball that was UFC 223. I don't even want to think about that madness right now, but this is the surgery scar from Tony Ferguson's injury that happened when he had his prescription sunglasses on indoors, tripped over like a production cord. I think they said there might have been one of those cards on the floor. Holy smokes. Torn knee Ferguson. Torn knee Ferguson. Yo, chill. Chill. Torn knee Ferguson. Keep fighting. I can't say it's going to be easy, but I will say everything in my life has prepared me for this test. Whatever you're going through, remember someone has it worse. Thank you forever, and thoughts and prayers for sure, man. I hope Tony Ferguson does have a speedy recovery. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate, man. And to think this bad of an injury, to cancel the fight for the 4th time, and to think how it started. Oh, so crazy, dog. Could you imagine you're about to be fighting biggest fight of your, and now you like lose your belt number. Alright, next topic. Tony Ferguson's gonna come back stronger than ever, man, but he's gonna be out for a while. That's one thing that says. I was thinking about Tony Ferguson with Eddie Alvarez. Khabib might be back before Tony Ferguson, for real. For real. So that might be why they had to strip it. You know what I'm saying? They had to strip that title because you can't have your interim champ holding up your champion for a year, you know. You gotta, it is what it is. Michael Bisping, Khabib's manager, he said he was injured by John Vellante. No, not John Vellante. Ilir Latifi was holding him back and cracked his ribs. He said he was trying to get off the bus, and Ilir Latifi was holding him back so much he cracked his ribs. Let's see. Mayweather's crew says UFC fighters on some bitch shit for pressing charges on Conor. These fucking clowns. Oh, these clowns, dog. He said they're on some bitch shit. And these are these dudes saying, you know, pressing charges. I see where you're coming from. Like, if you have money or you already have something, like, yeah, you're probably looking at this like, what? I could never see somebody, like, suing another fighter. But, like, if you're somebody like a hungry fighter or just somebody that's broke, or you completely understand this fucking multi-millionaire just busted a window over my head. And on top of that, if you're a fighter that is, you know, a respectful fighter, you don't agree with the trash talk, you don't like all of that stuff that it's brought. So let's say you're getting paid way less than Conor McGregor. You feel like, and then he busts this window over your head, your fight's canceled, and you're supposed to just take that fucking L. Michael Chiesa's supposed to just take that L. He's got blood coming from his head, and kind of his fight's canceled. He's supposed to just take that L. These guys are saying he's on some bitch shit. Let's check this out. Fuck yeah.
2 scoops max. He took 3 scoops, and that's what happened. I told him just relax on the intensity. The day before, the intensity, and he went crazy.
He was all amped up.
All right. He was all amped up. All jacked up on Mountain Dew. We might not be watching this video. Let's see. I don't want to watch 5 minutes to find that one.
He went out after, you know, he looked.
Fucking timestamp that shit, Brody. Well, yeah, I get it. I know some people are, oh, man, never sue, never fucking sue. Fucking no. Okay, buddy. Let's see. Ronda Rousey pick breaks the internet. Uh-oh. Conor McGregor's statement on the bus attack. Uh-oh. Let's see what Conor had to say. Someone said, what's up with the 125-pound women's division? When is the title on the line? I think that is up to Nico. I don't know if there's a date confirmed. 226, possibly 227. I would assume one of those big cards. Not sure, though. Not off the top of my head. I can't remember if it has a couple weeks ago. If there was a targeted date, I'm not remembering it off the top of my head. Let's see. This is okay. Yeah, we're off of this website for now. This is Dana White saying what Conor said. All right, so let's go to one of these better websites. I did see this. I wanted to check out. Justin Gaethje goes off on turd James Vick, vows to slap the fuck out of him. James Vick's a fighter that's got a chip on his shoulder, feels like he ain't getting the fights over some of these other dudes, these trash talkers coming in, messing dudes up. He's been calling out a lot of the top names. Justin Gaethje sounded firing back, called him a turd, and said he's gonna. Hey, let's check him out. Let's see. A recent interview with MMA Junkie veering off topic to share his thoughts on the towering Texan. Yeah, James Vick's hella big for the lightweight division too. I'm very thankful for this opportunity to fight Poirier. I could be fighting some turd like James Vick, fucking crybaby that never shuts up. That dude needs to get slapped. He called me a bitch on the internet, so when I do see him, I'm gonna slap the fuck out of him. I'm not happy with him. It's like seeing a little kid that just won't shut up because their parents won't spank them. It gets old. Hey, Justin Gaethje's already building his next fight. I'm down. I'm down. James Vick's been waiting on an opportunity. And whatever happens in this fight with Justin Gaethje, maybe we see them. Hey, Justin Gaethje wants all the smoke with James Vick. Damn. What did he say? He said, fucking crybaby that never shuts up. Bada boom, bada bang. Alright, let's get out of there. Whew. The fucking Justin Gaethje coming with that heat. Let's see. I see a super chat. I don't know why the sound didn't go off, so I'm gonna come check that out. Let's check him out. My guy said, yanking my dandy doodle said, Borg fighting soon. Tells me he ain't about to get.
You can't get down with this unless we put it on contract. We put it on contract, then you can get some.
There it is. I guess it was on a little bit of a delay. He said Ray Borg, since Ray Borg's already put it on contract. No. He said Ray Borg's fighting soon. Tells me he ain't about getting a piece of Conor millions. Actually, I don't know if that's the case. I say that because the fact that Ray Borg's fight was canceled and he went to the doctor, it has the doctor's note and the cornea injury. Ray Borg's still playing it as like, yo, I really did get injured. Like, to all of you fans that are saying I didn't get injured, like, forget you guys. And like, so Ray Borg, I still 100% believe is going to play on. His injury might not have been as significant as Chiesa's now, but he was still injured. They said he still had the cornea abrasions. Now, it looks like it definitely healed up. Now, in my opinion, it goes to what some people were saying. Like, because some people were like, well, you know, we saw Ray Borg in the embedded for a couple of seconds and he didn't look injured. Ray Borg responded to that too. And he said, you know, the people said they saw me in the embedded video and I looked fine. You only saw me for like 4 seconds. And I was like, yeah, well, yeah, but if you were holding your fucking eye for those, no, I'm just playing. But so in those 4, it didn't look like Ray Borg was too seriously injured after the attack. But at the same time, he still got the doctor's note. He still didn't fight. So that's still loss of wages, still injured, doctor's bills. He's still probably going to sue for something. And I also think this because Ray Borg was one of the fighters who had to get the protection order against Conor McGregor. There were 4 people that got the protection orders from Conor McGregor. Michael Chiesa, Ray Borg, and 2 other guys that were not fighters. And I think all 4 of the guys that got the protection orders got them because it's going to help with their proceedings in the courtroom. Because it just so happened to be the 2 fighters that were injured that had to get the protection orders. And I think Ray Borg, the fact that his fights rescheduled so soon just means that his injury wasn't too severe. But I still think he's going to probably be suing Conor McGregor. I don't know. Maybe that'll be better for Conor's defense. Like, look, he fought again next month. The injury wasn't that bad. But he might still have a case with the fact that his fight was canceled and he went to the doctor, I think. But, yeah, so let's check out some more of these headlines. And thanks for the 10, yanking my dandy doodle. Much appreciated, good sir. Let's see what we got over here. Michael Bisping, Conor McGregor had an announcement planned for UFC 223. We covered that a little bit. Khabib has a piece of advice for Zabit. Let's check this out. Is it a video? No. This guy needs to improve his English, brother. He said, without English, he cannot promote himself. He need English for sure. That way he can #1 bullshit. Everyone loves Khabib's fucking English, dogs. Some of his best promotions, the memes, the one-liners. Like, everyone loves it. Fuck yeah, dog. I agree. So that's just a little advice for a fellow up-and-coming rising Dagestan star. We got Dustin Poirier question Khabib's title win. Interesting. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of lightweights. I've seen Kevin Lee came out and said, like, you beat, like, number 11th ranked. You know what I'm saying? So there's going to be a lot of lightweights that don't look at Khabib as the champ. Tony Ferguson injured, didn't fight Conor, bada boom. But at the same time, if Khabib were to fight any of those guys, who's the favorite? Who do you guys would you pick to win? You know, maybe Tony by submission, maybe Conor by knockout. But if you're talking about who's most likely to win the fight, I think you're going to pick Khabib. So I do think he's the rightful champion, even though the way he got the belt is unfortunate. Dustin Poirier, let's see what he had to say. He is the champion. He has the belt, but I don't feel that that was a championship fight. Nothing against either guy. Khabib was on the way and earned himself a spot on the title fight, but that fight, to me, didn't feel like a title fight. I think this is the #1 contender fight. We'll see what happens, but the division's played itself where this fight matters a lot. And that's kind of true, especially with now Tony Ferguson being injured on the sidelines. Poirier versus Gaethje, the winner of this fight could either fight... Damn, they both are coming off of fights with Alvarez, essentially. Poirier fought Alvarez not too long ago, no contest. Gaethje was just knocked out by Alvarez. So the winner of this fight could jump Alvarez, but I don't really see that because neither one of them have a significant win over Alvarez. If Poirier wins, maybe he has to fight Alvarez the rematch now. Who knows? They both got a win over Gaethje. That would be a good time for the rematch, which, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people wanted to see her anyway. But as of right now, the thing about the #1 contender spot, it's kind of not a good time because, you know, yeah, you can jump Tony Ferguson while he's injured, but the champion's about to be out for a while, and I don't think they're going to make an interim lightweight title fight that soon, especially lightweight. Not lightweight. We've had interim title champion. We've had so much drama with that interim lightweight belt right now. The fact that Khabib just won his title, he might be out for 4 to 6 months. I don't think they're going to make a new champion in 4 to 6 months. So you probably, even if you win this fight this week, that you're not going to jump Conor McGregor. You know what I'm saying? If it's Conor in Russia or whatever. So the winner of this fight definitely is claiming their spot in the top 5, which I think they're already there. But I think with Eddie Alvarez up there, maybe they fight Eddie Alvarez again. If Poirier wins, maybe we see the Alvarez rematch. But yeah, if Gaethje wins, that's interesting. But yeah, the lightweight divisions is still at an interesting moment with Khabib as champion and Tony Ferguson injured, because you would think Tony Ferguson's the #1 contender, right? Oh no, we just saw his fucking scars. He's not going to be back for a while, it looks like. So let's see if he had anything else to say. No, just going on to talk about Poirier and Gaethje's last fights. They're fighting this weekend, this Saturday, 2 days. Former Invicta champ to make her debut against Holly Holm. That's interesting for sure. UFC 225 did a video on that. Dylan Dennis to make his win his Bellator. Bro, I missed the Bellator fucking Henderson versus Huerta. I didn't even realize that event was whatever weekend it was. I completely missed it. Didn't predictions, nothing. So it's sometimes, bro, those Bellator events be flying under the radar, and I be looking at headlines like, man, I didn't see nothing about this fight coming up. Dylan Dennis to finally make his MMA debut at Bellator 198. Let's see, what's the date? That's what I'm looking for. April 28th. That's not too long from now. That's 2 days after the Felony Charles Bennett card on Cam Soda, I believe. That one's April 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So what's that on, like a damn Wednesday? Because Bellator usually fights on Friday. Yeah. Yeah, the Poirier versus Alvarez fight was a no contest. There was that knee. In the beginning of the fight, I think it looked like Poirier, if I remember correctly, Poirier was winning the beginning of the fight, the first round. He was really doing good. And then Eddie Alvarez started to come back and threw that knee. And if I'm not mistaken, Poirier couldn't continue. But at that moment, I think Eddie Alvarez was starting to get momentum back, even though Poirier won the first round. Like he was, but at the same, yeah. So Poirier couldn't continue, so it was a no contest. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. So, and then yeah, of course. And Eddie Alvarez fought Gaethje last, and it was a KO, I believe. What was it, the knee or the uppercut? It was one of the. I think it was the knee. The knee took him out. Fucking Tito versus Liddell. I've been seeing a lot of headlines about that for so long. I'm like, make it happen. Like we've been seeing You know what I'm saying? But yeah, close to a huge deal. Chuck Liddell. I've been seeing headlines about that for a long time. Let's check out if there's anything on here. Luke Rockhold believes win over Alexander Gustafsson should make him the light heavyweight champion. That would be interesting. I mean, he just came off of an interim title loss at 185. But I only agree because it's Alexander Gustafsson. You know, he's the #1 contender. If you beat Alexander Gustafsson, he's the best. And if Cormier's gone, if you're not going to fight Cormier, but yeah, first Cormier would have to vacate kind of because we got to see what happens with Cormier and Miocic. Is Cormier staying at heavyweight? He's only got a couple more fights. He probably would stay at heavyweight, especially if his boy Luke Rockhold got the title. Let's see. He said there's a lot of interest in this fight. He's a guy that's been right there, that's only lost a champion. He's the top. He's the cream of the crop in the division. You beat him, you basically are the champion. The only problem is DC is the champion. So what? I go fight Alexander Gustafsson when DC is fighting for the heavyweight title? I'm not going to fight Gustafsson for nothing, and I'm not going to put myself in the position where it creates a weird moment for me in DC. So I think it all depends on what happens with this fight with him and Stipe. If that goes forward, yeah, I mean, I'll fight Gustafsson. But once you beat Gustafsson, if DC's out, if I beat Gustafsson, I should be the fucking champion. Just realistically. And I mean, if you think about it, is the man to beat other than DC, so the whole division is just in a weird place. That's facts. Fucking facts from Luke Rockhold. It's really Gustafsson #1 contender. Somebody's been working their way up. I think I still got the UFC rankings right here. Ozdemir just lost to Shira. Ilir Latifi's on his way up for sure. That's who's on his way up. So yeah, but for sure, if you beat Alexander Gustafsson, you should be the champion because he's the #1 guy. You'd probably have to do it. Yeah, it'd probably be an interim title fight. That would make sense. Interim title fight between Gustafsson and Rockhold. But as he said, if he becomes the interim champion, Cormier's the champion, that's a really weird situation. So he's got to wait and see if DC wins, essentially. Because if DC beats Stipe, he probably stays at heavyweight. But if he loses, he probably comes back down to light heavyweight, which would pump the brakes on Luke Rockhold. So yeah, but Ilir Latifi's a guy definitely on his way up to that title shot for sure. But he's teammates with Gustafsson and Manuel, if I'm not mistaken, so he's not going to fight Gus for that #1 contender spot. But he's also said he's willing to move up to heavyweight, though. Let's see. I'll check out MMA fighting after this. And then I'll check out the chat, and then we'll probably get out of here for a little while. Michael Bisping, boom, we covered that. Boom. All right, let's check out MMA fighting. Michelle Waterson concerned about fighters emulating McGregor. If nothing happens to him, that's a good point. If Conor McGregor can just fucking shatter a UFC van window, you know, what are there other people? Oh, I want to build a fight. Let's say Conor McGregor comes back and sells 3 million. Oh, so maybe I should bust some fucking fighter van windows so I can sell 3 million. She's got a good point. Something's got to happen. And if not, I mean, maybe other people emulate it. But the thing is, if you guys remember, I seen someone brought this. We remembered Paul Daly, you know, when all of this happened. Like, I wonder what Paul Daly's thinking. You know, he got kicked out of the UFC for, you know, hitting a guy after the bell. You know, this guy just shattered a window, fucking injured 2 fighters, 4 fights canceled. This is bad, a bad look, damaged property, all of this madness. And someone else brought up, if you remember on The Ultimate Fighter, that Jesse Taylor guy. He was going crazy at like some casino wrecking shit. But he was actually out partying, drunk, wrecking shit. He was, you know what I'm saying? But still, Dana White, he was supposed to fight in the finale. Like, you're not fighting in the finale, dude. Imagine how you would be once, you know, everyone actually likes you. The girls want to hang out with you. You got money. You're a UFC fighter. You're famous. Imagine how you're going to be then. Fuck out of here. It's like, he would have probably been exactly like Conor McGregor is today. Like, I don't know, you know, but someone said Jesse Taylor's another guy that got kicked out of the UFC for some, not the UFC, but the Ultimate Fighter, for behavior like this. So yeah, the UFC has set precedents before, which is probably why people were like, yo, that's why we haven't seen this before, because that used to happen. Fighters used to get banned for this type of stuff. But you got to take this into consideration. We got new owners. Maybe they enjoy this shit. Maybe they don't think it's as serious. Who knows? Maybe I don't know. But yeah. But Michelle Waterson's got a good point. She said she was bummed for Ray Borg, who was injured. She said that fight had already gotten pushed back, and he just had his baby. His baby was in the ICU. I'm sure he wanted nothing more than to bring home a W as a bonus for his family, his brand new family, and for all of that to happen to me, it's really disheartening. I feel like Conor McGregor has had the opportunity to build himself, to build his ground, to build his fight career, and has been really successful at it, and for him to do the things that he did was very selfish in my opinion. We're in the sport that if you have personal beef, you can deal with it and get paid for it. Instead of trying to go behind the scenes and wreak havoc among people that have nothing to do with your drama and affect not only the fighters, the coaches, the fighters' families, the employees of the UFC, and the employees of the arena, and the list goes on, right? We just got into New York, and I'm sure the commission is shaking their heads right now thinking, why did we let these fighters come in? Another good point. We just had Madison Square Garden, what, UFC 205 first fight. You know, New York was trying to keep MMA out. Like, nope, if you guys come, all right, it's going to be super expensive. We got to get insurance on all these fighters. Looking like that. I wonder if that insurance kicked in. You know, I think there was some crazy number being thrown around. Like, if you want to fight in New York, you got to have like $1 million insurance policy per fighter. So, maybe that came into place, but yeah, she's got a good point. New York's like, well, we should have never gave these fighters money. No, but New York let them in, and this is where it happened. So yeah, it does look bad, man. It does look bad. All entertainment aside, all loyalty, all that bullshit aside, something's got to happen. Now, he was arrested, and that's what they said. Like, Dana White, are you going to, like, ban Conor, or are you going to fire Conor, they said. He was like, you know, this is way bigger than that. You know, he's going to be arrested. Like, he was arrested, but he kind of got out. So I don't think, you know, I don't know if that's enough. Maybe the commission does something. Maybe the UFC still has something planned. We will see. But she's got a good point. You just let this slide. Maybe somebody tries to copy Conor. You get a Conor copy, a carbon copy of Conor, if you will. Let's see. Israel Adesanya says it's disrespectful to compare him to John Jones. I see what he's saying, but it helps. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I go to my brother and I'm like, yo, he's like, who's fighting this weekend? Should I go watch the card? I'm like, yo, the dude that people are saying might be the next John Jones, might be the next Anderson Silva, he's fighting this weekend. That makes them go, oh, okay, I'm watching. But if I said, oh, yeah, this one dude's on here, he might be good. You know, he might be a big star in the future, not sure. It's like, oh, cool fucking story. But whenever you start saying, "Oh man," whenever you hype him up, Israel Adesanya, and do those comparisons, it actually gets more eyes on him. But I understand, you know, he said he wants to be his. I actually listened to that video. He said he wants to be his own guy. He said don't compare him to McGregor, Silva, none of these guys, because it's kind of disrespectful. He wants to be his own name. And I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, that's just natural for people. If you're in there fucking dancing, people are gonna say you're kind of like Anderson Silva. You know what I'm saying? If who's the guy? Gallagher over at Bellator. They say he's like Conor McGregor. I'm sure he wants to be the Gallagher, not the Conor McGregor. He don't want to be in Conor's shadow. But if you talk like Conor McGregor, you know you're undefeated like Conor McGregor, you're getting finishes, you train, you're gonna get some of those comparisons. This is something I saw. Let's check this shit out, dude. Let's check this shit out. Baby Slice seeks future fight with member of Dada 5000's crew. We might get Baby Slice or Dada versus Kimbo too. I'm in. This is gonna be way better. This is not gonna be like the first one. This is not gonna be. Does he look like he could gas where his opponent in his lightweights? No, this dude looks like, you know what I'm saying? Kimbo 2.0. That is who he is. It's Kimbo's son. And so, I don't know who. All I'm saying is I got my money on Kimbo's son. I don't know who's from Dada 5000's crew. I'm hoping they got better cardio, but I got my money on Kimbo Jr. I'll tell you that much. He said he would love to bring Bellator back to Florida. They got to try and sign Felony Charles Bennett for that card, bro. That's what they got to do. Or Bruce Lutch-Medio, bro. I cannot wait for that fight. That Felony Bennett versus Bruce Lutch-Medio fight coming up on that Cam Soda's card. Bro, that's almost like Conor versus Khabib as far as these dudes really don't like each other. Bruce really wants to fuck Felony up. Felony really wants to fuck Bruce up. They're about to be fighting for real deal Holyfield live and direct. And they got some, I can't wait for that fight. You know what I'm saying? It might have crossed the line, but that really builds a fight. Like they say, this is where you can settle it in the cage, and that's what's going to happen. So I can't wait for that upcoming fight. But if Bellator was ever going to make a move on Felony or someone else, do it on this Florida card. Give him a one-time shot on this Florida card. That would be crazy. So y'all though, let me know in the chat. Someone said the seed was already planted. Joey Diaz, hell yeah, fucking Khabib versus Conor, dog. No, he was talking about Woodley versus Conor. That shit was hilarious, bro. Joey Diaz is my dude. But how's that internet though, bro? I don't think we've cut off one time. I don't want to jinx it. But I think we're looking good. I've been seeing a green box. We ain't cut off. We might be doing fight companions this week. The fuck you time, Matt. But with that being said, I'm down. I'm already interested in Kimbo Jr. You know, it's Kimbo fucking Jr. How can you not watch those fights? So I'm already watching those. But when you add someone from Dada 5000's crew, that's crazy shit. That's crazy. Yo, that's fucking. You can't make this shit up, bro. That's fucking funny, bro. That's funny to me. Kimbo versus Dada. Like, Cruz. Let's go. Yeah, I think I want to start doing fight companions. Maybe pretty soon. I got to get my layouts. I got to talk to some graphic designers. We got to get some OBS layouts. We're going to be in this. We're going to be lit. I'm telling you, boy. Best fight companions on the tube. Enrique Barzola meets Brandon Davis at UFC Chile. We need some fights added now that, you know, Ozdemir might not be making it to Chile. Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. That's going to be a hell of a fight. But my thing is, what if Megan Anderson loses to Holly Holm? Chris Cyborg, did she just lose an opponent, right? Well, I mean, maybe she just fights Holly Holm again. But it's like, Cyborg's been wanting to fight Megan Anderson, so now if she comes over and loses to Holly Holm, it's like, well, now she don't even get that title shot, so it's like Cyborg. And then it's like, oh, so I thought she was the legit featherweight that everyone's been waiting to see fight Cyborg. If she can't beat Holly, how was she supposed to beat Cyborg? You know what I'm saying? But now, if she can come in and get a W over Holly Holm, that makes the fight better. But yeah, Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson, I love the fight, but that's who Cyborg's been trying to fight. She's been trying to fight Cyborg, and now I just think if she loses, kind of to lose that opponent. Let's see. Dark Horse Courtney Casey, confident Michelle Waterson fight is going to be an eye-opener for a lot of people. A lot of people feel like Courtney Casey is going to win this fight 100%. I saw that. Some people, when I made my prediction, I predicted Michelle Waterson gets the dub here. But hey, maybe Courtney Casey does. Michelle Waterson's going to have to use some grappling, but if she can't get the fight to the floor, it's going to be another story. It's looking like Courtney Casey's going to have the striking advantage. But maybe Michelle Waterson can get it done. I picked Waterson, but I've seen there's a lot of people real confident in Courtney Casey in this fight. So if she does get this win, it's going to be her biggest win of her career. I would believe Michelle Waterson, one of the bigger names in the women's WMMA. So Courtney Casey may have got the wrong end of a contentious split decision in her last fight. But if a casual observer didn't know any better, it'd be easy to think she won. She fought Felice Herrig. That was her loss. Michelle Waterson, they're going to be fighting the UFC on Fox 29. Yeah, man, it's going to be a good fight. We'll see. It's definitely going to be an eye-opener if she can get the W. All right, I'm gonna mess with the chat, and then after that, I'm going to shut the stream down. And then, yes, I just really wanted to test out the live streams. Also, there hasn't been a lot coming out. I've been trying to get that Aljamain Sterling interview going and stuff. Finally got it done today. That shit was super dope. Super dope. Like, what? Talking about Aljamain Sterling. And I seen some people saying, like, yo, you're getting noticed by more UFC fighters. I just got to let you guys know just 100%. It's not like the Sean O'Malley situation where he commented on one of my videos and, you know, fucking, then I was like, oh, yo, how do I get an interview, you know, shit like that. I actually saw, because I seen two other YouTube channels had interviews with Aljamain. I was like, okay, so Aljamain just doing a bunch of interviews right now, and I went to all of his social medias to see if I could try and get one with him, and so I found out you had to hit up his manager, I believe it is, and so I hit him up, and he scheduled the interview. So it was like that. It wasn't like he was like, yo, full-time salute. I've been rocking with the channel. You know, I'm not going to act like that. But yeah, no, Aljamain Sterling, that's dope, though. I'm thankful for that opportunity. His dude hit me back. Bada boom, bada bang. We were chatting with Aljamain Sterling. Now, with that being said, let's see what the full-time family's talking about before we get out of here. I'll do a little more news later tonight and stuff like that. O'Malley versus Khabib, said someone. I'm down. This looking like Khabib versus Jair though. So let's check out the Shizat. Put down the boom. Alright, my boy MMA Addict, Gary Kendrick Jr. What up, everybody? Josh Silver. He said, Johnny Mac. Gary Kendrick Jr. said, has anyone seen dog fights on Netflix with Dada? That shit's really good. I even think, damn, I'm about to write that shit down right now. I have not seen that, but I'm about to write it down. Especially if Jorge Masvidal's in it. That's dope. That's dope. Jorge Masvidal's got his own documentary coming out, I think, from Backyard to Bright Lights. Let's see, dog fights. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch that. I want to see Jorge Masvidal's documentary. Let's see, AJ's much more smaller than Wilder. We got some boxing talk. Short distance said, skill doesn't matter as much at heavyweight, I feel like, because everything is so devastating. Yeah, for sure. That's the thing about Francis Ngannou. People act like he got exposed. It's like, why do you think no one else exposed his ass? Because he was taking him out before it was possible, you know? Pablo Platinum Escobar said, what's goody full-time $1 million? Not much, brother. What's going on? Old Greg said, Wilder didn't fight. I'm not even getting into the boxing. Not right now, because I don't know who Wilder fought. Gary Kendrick Jr. said, I hate seeing Michelle Waterson lose. What's good, Pablo? What up, brother? Johnny Mac. Oh, yeah, he saw dog fights. Let's scroll up and see what some folks had to say. We got Dark Renaissance in here. PK Vid said Colby had the same Fuku suit Conor McGregor had on at the UFC 205 press conference. I thought his suit looked super familiar, bro. Just because it was like, for one, I seen he was wearing a suit, which was different than Chael Sonnen. You remember, Chael Sonnen used to talk about, like, who shows up to a press conference in a suit? This is a fight, yada boom. And so he showed up in the suit, and it looked so familiar. I would not be surprised if it was one of Conor's exact suits, bro. I would not be surprised. Let's see. Someone said they should never make Conor versus. Short distance said they shouldn't never make Conor versus Khabib. I think you were responding to something. Kimbo 7.0 will be the world champ. Too bad he doesn't exist yet. I won't be around to watch it happen. Kimbo 7.0. That's hilarious. Keep getting better and better. Like, all right, man. So, any last comments? I'm about to get out of here. Yeah, all right, y'all. Thanks for coming through and checking this out. I just wanted to do this, cover the UFC rankings update. I thought that was pretty crazy. Tony Ferguson's now the #2 contender. He did lose his interim belt. Conor McGregor lost his belt. It's official. #1 contender. GSP's now the #2 P for B. 2P for P. With that being said, I'm about to go test my internet just a little bit more on some Fortnite. So fuck with your boy on Xbox. I'm about to do that just because my brother's off work for like a few hours. So me and him got some stuff to do. But then I'm going to be right back on here getting ready for UFC Arizona. Is UFC Arizona this weekend? Glendale, Arizona. Poirier versus Gaethje. We got everything coming up. We covered a lot of stuff in here. If anything else comes up, yeah. And make sure you go check out the interview with Aljamain Sterling. I just did today if you haven't already. Thanks for coming through. What's my gamer tag? Said Johnny Mac, full-time MMA. And that's also where I'm testing my connection out because it was messing up on there. So we're good on here. I'm going to make sure we're good on there. Add me on there. Xbox full-time MMA. I'm going to be fucking with Sean O'Malley on there soon, man. I'll be over there on his Twitch. So I'm going to have to get some games in. But yeah, if y'all want to fuck with me on there, add me. I'll be back on here soon after that. All right, with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time fan know what you think in the comments.